We're back with the 9th episode of Awake All Night, the Sugar Glider Show. Starring Adama and Ty. Employees are hired, routes are discussed, gliders bond, toys are made, and questions are answered. Here's Patrick.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 9th episode of Awake All Night.
Blah, 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 blah.
What, Adama?
Boring.
Oh, you want to do it. Okay, go ahead.
And a dramatic pause.
Well, don't leave me hanging. Do it.
The Sugar Glider Show. Starring me, Adama.
We got a great show for you today, but we're going to start with...
Bonza Product of the Month.
Oh, look, I'm back. It's supposed to be Bonzo Product of the Month, right? Oh, that's right. I have a product now. It's the very first season of Awake All Night, the Sugar Glider Show, the very first 7 episodes. And you can get it for $10 on eBay. Just go to eBay and type Awake All Night, the Sugar Glider Show DVD. And the show is free. If you have some change in your pocket, you got a couple bucks in your pocket, and you want to support the show, buy yourself a DVD.
Bonza Product of the Month.
We got a really special show for you today. We're going to talk about the right fruits and veggies. Speaking of veggies, we're going to talk about corn. And speaking of corn, I have a special guest, Jonathan.
Hey, Dad, I interviewed someone.
What?
I need an assistant.
You're interrupting me for the second time, and no, we can't hire anybody. We have a special guest
She's in
today.
Studio B. Camera is rolling.
Adama, I'm on camera.
She's hired.
What?
I already hired her.
What do you mean you hired somebody? You can't hire somebody. We had this meeting. We don't have a budget.
Listen, you're just the host, but I'm Adama, the star.
Hey, Adama, you told me that I was going to get paid, and actually, we talked about some.
Yeah, sure. Dad will pay.
Wait, hold on.
Now?
You're getting paid?
Okay. Hey, everybody, I'm Nellan, and I'm really excited to be part of the AAN team. When Adama called me and asked me to come over and talk about the position, I was, I was wondering why he would think about me for that, because I don't know a lot about sugar gliders. As far as I knew, they kind of hang around in pouches during the day or something. And he said, well, that's exactly the reason. Sugar gliders, there's a lot of mystery, there's a lot of fact, there's a lot of fiction, there's a lot of opinions out there. So I was really happy. I was really excited to start my work and do some research. And we're going to take a look now at some footage so you can see exactly how that process went. I hope this will do it. I'm going crazy.
Ma'am, are you sure you don't need an ambulance?
Holy monkey biscuits, Batman! That was crazy. No wonder so many sugar glider parents are pulling their hair out. I thought I was gonna go nuts, but nuts are a whole nother story. The only thing that I can say for sure that all of the experts agree on, whether they're bashing somebody's diet or promoting their own, is that they agree that gliders need a well-balanced diet. I started my research by talking to some breeders and then online and in books. I can't believe how much conflicting information there is out there. No wonder newbies like me get so confused and overwhelmed. I was ready to start thinking that Fruit Loops and a weekly hot wing for protein, well, that was the best diet. If you tune into AAN, then just like me, you want the best for your pets, and it's hard to make decisions when it seems the experts are all saying something different. So I decided to start with the absolute basic facts about sugar gliders and then dip my toes into the highly debated world of the pet sugar glider. Now, the scientific name for sugar gliders is Petaurus breviceps. In English, that translates to short-headed rope dancer. Well, that refers to the acrobatic tricks that gliders perform in the trees where they make their homes. We call animals that live primarily in trees arboreal. Gliders are also nocturnal, spending most of their waking hours at night. Sugar gliders are native to Australia and many of the surrounding islands. There are actually 7 different species of gliders. Now, in the wild, the gliders only have a lifespan of about 4 to 5 years. As pet gliders, they can live 12 to 14. Their diet back home is primarily insects. That's during the summer months and breeding season. When you get into winter and the insects are not as plentiful, that's when they start eating their favorites like acacia, tree gum, eucalyptus sap, fruits, nectars, and honeydew. Oh, I don't mean the melon. Honeydew is a sticky, sugary substance that certain types of insects secrete out onto leaves. And then the sugar gliders come behind them and lick it up. Oh yeah, they also enjoy the occasional lizard, small bird, and bird egg. Now, let's enter the addictive and possibly dangerous world of the pet sugar glider. One thing that the breeders, scientists, vets, and distributors agree on: fruits and vegetables are part of a glider's balanced diet. The lists of what's okay to feed and not okay to feed are endless. So how do you know what the best choices are? That's what I'm going to focus on during this episode. It really comes down to a balance of nutrients. A couple of important things to consider are the amounts of fruits and vegetables to feed and the ratio of calcium and phosphorus they contain. Suggies love the sweet stuff, and that's what they're going to go for first, but usually veggies are more nutritious. So you want to feed more veggies than fruit. And what about the calcium phosphorus ratio thing? We know that people need the correct level of calcium for healthy bones, and so do gliders. Another mineral called phosphorus is needed for healthy cellular energy. But these two minerals have to perform an incredible balancing act. Gliders ideally need a 2-to-1 ratio of calcium and phosphorus, meaning they need twice as much calcium as phosphorus. If the phosphorus level is too high, then that causes a decrease in the absorption of the calcium. Now, this can cause some health problems. So calcium-phosphorus ratio is something that we really want to consider carefully when choosing fruits and vegetables. Now let's start with the veggies. Some of the veggies with the best ratios are leafy greens like mustards, collards, kale, turnips. Some other vegetables with really good ratios are cabbage, celery, okra, and bok choy. Now there's lots and lots of other vegetables out there. These are just a few with the really good calcium phosphorus ratios. That means it would be good to have a couple of these in their diet regularly, just to offset any of the fruits or veggies you might use that don't have that ratio or aren't quite so healthy. And now on to fruits. Blackberries, figs, pineapple, papaya, kumquats, and also a lot of different types of citrus are great. However, citrus has been known to cause diarrhea, and so that really needs to be kept to a minimum. There's safe fruits and vegetable lists on almost any glider site that you visit. It's also helpful to find one that does have that calcium phosphorus ratio. That'll really help you in making good decisions. And one last thing, gliders can be picky. They're usually going to fill up on things that they like the best, so sometimes they won't try the new stuff. And if they don't eat it the first night or the second night, doesn't mean they're not going to eat it on the third. Try new things and keep it interesting. Now, I'm going to step into the first veggie minefield. To corn or not to corn? That is the question. Corn is not an absolute no-no, like you'll hear sometimes. But remember our calcium phosphorus ratio? Corn has a 0.02 to 1 calcium phosphorus ratio. So corn is not a super healthy choice. But Adama and Ty do love it, so they absolutely occasionally get it, but more as a treat than as a regular part of their diet. You're going to also find some varying opinions about some fruits and veggies like broccoli, cauliflower, blackberries, and raspberries. The key to remember is that these days, unless you buy organic, generally your fresh fruits and vegetables are going to have almost always been sprayed with some sort of pesticide. So some people think that you can't reasonably get all of those pesticides off some fruits and vegetables with a certain type of texture. The best thing to do is just remember, always wash everything thoroughly and use a vegetable brush if you have one available. Now to sourcing our fruits and veggies. Fresh is always best, but a lot of fruits and vegetables are seasonal, so frozen is a great option. But remember, never canned unless it's an absolute emergency. I hope you found the report helpful and maybe even learned some new things like I did. Please send any questions you have for the AAN team because it helps us give you the info you need for your own short-headed rope dancer. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to see you again on Awake All Night.
So Adama, the prima donna that he is, asked for a special, because today, we're shooting, today is Valentine's Day. He is, I would say requested, but that's a nice way to put it. He demanded, he's one of the, take all the brown M&Ms out. He demanded a special situation to eat his food in, a special ambiance. So we'll give that to you in just a second. Yeah, Adama, or should I say prima donna, thinks he's going to eat all those treats with Ty, but they're not. They're not going to get all the joogies. We're taking them away. Cut! We'll see you next time on Sugar Glider Diner.
Your questions get answered on Ask Peggy.
I can't get my glider to sit still, so how can I possibly cut his nails? That comes from Dewey Foley.
Okay, everybody wants to know, how do you clip a glider's nails? Well, first you have to make sure you have all the proper materials to do so. You want to have a pouch. You want to have some cornstarch just in case you clip a little bit too close and it bleeds just a little bit. And you want to make sure you have something yummy to keep them preoccupied. And of course, you want to make sure that you have the glider and nail clippers. Now, I use the slanted cuticle clippers here. It's on an angle and they get the tips of the nails just right. Many people that have several gliders use a separate pouch when doing so. I myself just keep them all in their basic pouch. And you want to pull out 1 foot at a time and slowly clip. You're just trying to clip the nail, the very tip of the nail. You don't want to go too deep. If you look really close, you can see where the quick is on the glider. And you want to clip just the very tip of it just to keep them from scratching you all up and getting hung up on things. Once you clip through, just make sure that you pull out 1 foot. Then you're going to close the pouch over the top of the glider, just having that foot out so that way the glider doesn't see you. It's going to be busy eating one of these yogi treats that you've given them, or a pine nut, or some kind of treat just to keep them busy. Clip the very tip of the nail. Go through. You've got 5 on each front. Then we're going to go to the back paw. The back paw has got the regular 2 nails and it's got its grooming claws. Many people ask, do you clip the grooming claws as well? The grooming claws do not need to be clipped as often as the other nails do, but you do want to clip them. As you see, they also have quicks. If they get too long, they too can get caught up. So you want to make sure that all nails are at a good length. Don't go too short because then the glider's not going to be able to hold on to things after the nails are clipped and they may lose balance. If you are looking for a good nail trimming kit with everything that you need, your trim tracks, your nail clippers, your treats, your cornstarch, your pouch, you can find that at www.critterlove.com under the Care Special page. And that is how you clip a glider's nails. Keep them to where they can be on you at all times, and we will see you next time.
Email your questions for Peggy for future shows to slotjaw@aol.com. That's slotjaw@aol.com.
Crystal again. I just want to thank you guys for all the wonderful feedback we got on our toy segment. So Adama and Patrick wanted me to come back, so here I am. Today what we're going to be doing is not a toy. We're actually going to be working on some cage apparel. What we're going to be making today is a fleece vine. And they come in a variety of colors. You can coordinate them, which is what I really like about them, to go with your existing cage sets or anything you'd like. You can hang toys on them with a little adaptation. So what we're going to need is some very simple stuff. We're going to need some fleece. This one is going to be cut short because it's going in my travel cage. For the width, I like about 6 or 7 inches. For the length, it's really depending on you on how long you want to make it for your cage. But it's your choice. I usually start with at least 3 layers of fabric. And obviously this one's going to be pink because it's in my all-girls cage. And we're going to need tabby doos. Now, tabby doos are obviously just strips of fleece. What's important is that when we cut fleece, there are 2 ways fleece can stretch. One is the long way, like that, and the other is the wrong way. See how much give that has? We don't want that for our tabs, especially not, because it will wear and tear on your product and it will just fall apart faster. It will fray and fuzz and no es bueno. So, moving right along, what we're going to do is we're going to take our fleece, we're going to pile it on top of one another. If it does not line up perfectly, is okay. Remember, we're going to be cutting this along the sides, so a little bit of depth variation is not necessarily a bad thing. So like always, we're going to show you what we need. We need the fleece, we got our tabs, we're going to need scissors and pins. So, we're going to take our tabby do and we're going to bend it in half. What we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to put it right in here so that we have a little bit of a tab sticking out. Now, because we want to be good, we want to just pin it so it doesn't move anywhere when we're sewing it up. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. Once your fabric is cut, pinned, and lined up, we are ready to sew. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you here first. We're going to make a little T here. So we're going to go across to make sure that our tabby do or our scrap is secure. We're then going to take our machine and sew a straight line down to the bottom and do another tabby do. We do want to make sure that the stitch is locked, so we want to go back and forth. We also want to make sure that on our machine it is set to the tightest setting possible so little nails and fingers don't get caught in there. All right, let's go. So for our beginning sewers out there, this is probably going to be the easiest piece of your glider decor. And it certainly helps to build confidence. What we want to do is before we sew our vine, we want to take an extra piece of fleece. Now if you notice, I'm using blue thread. I'm using blue thread so you can make sure you definitely see it against the pink. But what we want to do is we want to set our tightest setting as we mentioned before, and we're going to try it out. We want to make sure that before we go on our finished project that our stitch is where it should be, or if it needs to be adjusted a bit. Your stitch should look about this. If you notice, it's nice and tight. You can barely see the blue thread on it, but it makes it a lot less possible for a glider to get their little nail stuck in there. We're going to pick up our vine. So, as we go, if you're not used to sewing with pins, you obviously want to make sure that the pins are pulled out and that the little ball is on the outside, so as you're sewing you can pull them out and your needle doesn't run over them, because it will cause, it can and will cause your needle to break, and it's no fun when you have to replace the needle in the middle of sewing. I'm going over, and what we're going to do is we're going to hit reverse, go back and lock the stitch all the way across, reverse again, pull that up. We're going to make sure that the needle is down. We're going to turn it so that it's facing here. We're going to make sure it goes down again. We're going to hold our fabric like this and put the pedal to the metal. we're done with our sewing machine. What we're going to do is at the end we want to cut off our little threads that we have hanging about. I'm blind. Okay, so now comes the fun part. I recommend using a rotary scissor, but you can use any scissor you have. This scissor, I think I got it at Walmart for like $7. So what we're going to do is we're going to proceed to make little cut. We do not want to cut the line here, the line we just stitched. We need that to stay there. And we're just going to make them about 1/2 inch apart. We're going to do that to both sides. When I make vines, I like to use alternating colors. I just think it gives it more depth and just makes it prettier. But obviously, this is your project. This is for your babies. Make it with any colors you want. If you want to feel creative, you can use pinking shears, which give it a different design when you cut them out. Once we're done with that, we're done. I'm going to floof it up a little bit. And we have a vine ready to go in our baby's cages. Once again, this is a small vine because it's going in my travel cage. Lots of people just hang them straight up and down. I like to hang them across like this because my babies like to run across it like Tarzan. If you're making this and you have any questions, you can feel free to reach me on Facebook. My Facebook page is Contessa Critters, and you can message me there. I'm more than happy to answer any questions about things to put in your cage, toys, other enrichment items, or just basic sewing questions. You can hit me up, and I promise I don't bite. Unless you're really good.
Here's another Adama Bond.
Okay, well, we're back, and as of last episode, I had moved a bunch of times, and I wasn't able to spend as much time with the boys, and I was a little worried at how that was going to work out, but they're the same, you know. I'm still bonded with them, and I can take Adama to work, and I can't take Tidal. But I think the interesting story here is now that Nelan is a part of the AAN team, she has taken an interest in Ty and Adama. Well, can a person come in after someone else is bonded and bond with your sugar gliders? Here's how it starts.
The first couple of times I was around Adama and Ty and they were out of their cage, I was really nervous. They're so quick and fast and fragile, or they seem very fragile. I was really nervous. So Patrick and I went into the bathroom, and so they were in that closed environment, safe environment where they could just run around and I could just kind of sit there and they saw me. And once they calmed down and got all their, some of their energy out, I was able to, pet them or touch them, or I could touch them when Patrick was holding them. And after a couple of times doing that, Adama got more comfortable with me, and I could hold him sort of in my lap and kind of create a little pouch or a little safe place with my hands and play with his tail. I could curl his tail around and everything. So that was fun. But I didn't like having to go into the bathroom or go in this closed, shut a door and just sit in there, and it wasn't real fun or relaxing for me. So what I started doing is going in and fixing them dinner and changing their toys around or cleaning out the cage, things like that. They saw me and I would give them treats if they came out of the pouch, or at night when they came out for dinner, I would give them little pieces of food. So they just started getting used to me. And after a while, what I thought about doing is when they feel safe and comfortable in the pouch, so I would take it out and kind of lay it down on my chest and just kind of lay it there and just be real quiet with them and breathe. And after, they would peek their little heads out and I would give them a couple of treats, and I would just talk to them and kind of pet them, and eventually it was nice. They liked for me to kind of put my hand in the pouch and we all curled up and I cupped them around, together, and they would like click. They liked that. The relationship has just developed from there. It's really exciting to see them come out, and Ty or Adama, they want to come out, they want to jump to me. So the relationship is developing. We're getting closer, and I'm having a lot of fun. I feel more confident handling them. I feel better about allowing the relationship to develop at their pace. Their personalities are so unique, they're so different. Ty has that really outgoing, I'm out of here, just, give me a treat and then I'm gonna haul. And Adama is a little more, I like calling him prima donna. He's a little shyer, he's a little more finicky. He's a little, like kind of prissier. So it's taken a little more time with him. But hopefully, since he was the one that hired me, I'm going to assume that he likes me a little bit. I think he's just kind of stubborn. He doesn't want, people to know, he keeps his guard up. He tries to play it cool. But I'm excited to see what happens over the next month or so, or whenever we have the next episode, and you guys can see how much progress we've made. And I'm really excited to see how much progress I can make with them, and just build that relationship and make it even stronger, and eventually say, hey, I truly am. I have a Dama bond is totally, I'm there. So we'll see what happens.
This is Emily, this Sheila from Down Under, saying adios, mate, till next episode.